What's on Your Mind is sponsored by ACC 339.0, New Style Radio 98.7 FM, Breakthrough Studios, and Reggae Jam Jam.
Good afternoon, guys. How you doing? Welcome to another program, the series of What's on Your Mind. Program is produced by Breakthrough TV, and I am Carl. Let me say thank you for tuning in. Hope all is well with you. I got to tell you, it's raining heavily in the UK. I don't know what is happening, but we're in the autumn. Let me say thank you for tuning into the program. I want to say a big shout out to all you guys who's watching the program for the first time. Absolutely marvelous. Let me say thank you. And all you guys who've been supporting the program over the time we've actually been broadcasting, let me say once again thank you. All new artists that we've actually had in the studio. Prince Hammer, big shout out to you. You know what I mean? Tina B, big shout out to you. Heather Haywood, big shout out to you. So many of you we've actually had in the studio here. Let me say big shout out to you. I'm Locked the Far Right, Steel Pulse bass player. Big shout out to you, my brother. Hope all is well with you and hope you're having a good day. Let me say once again thank you for tuning in into the program. And I want to say big shout out to Hector, how you doing? June, how you doing? Girlene, how you doing? And all you guys, the United States, let me say thank you for tuning in. The West Indies, thank you for tuning in. At home in the UK, let me say thank you for tuning in. And don't forget, guys, I ask you to like, share, and subscribe to the program. You know what I mean? That's very important because we're trying to get the algorithm up. You know what I mean? And sometimes we get it up, and sometimes it comes down. Sometimes we get it up, and sometimes it comes down. What does that sound like? Sometimes we get it up, and sometimes it comes down. We got evidence of this, and one day we don't know what we're going to do yet. But as I say, they keep messing with the thing. Yes. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to the program. Now, I want to say big shout out to Mr. Levi One Drop Washington. Wow. Axe, what a wonderful brother. He was in the studio with us last week. We say big shout out to you, Mr. Levi. Great brother. We had a great conversation. You want to go and look at that interview again. He was actually a great brother. A fantastic brother. He's one of those brothers who's just cool and nice and, you know what I mean, no attitude or nothing like that, you know what I mean? And he was very good in just on short notice and coming to do the program. And you can check out Levi. He's a DJ, he's a compeer, and he does a lot of different things, you know what I mean? For everyone, big shout out to you, my brother. Now, I got a guest in the studio this afternoon. Now, I've known this brother for quite some time, and I've been trying to track him down. He's an engineer, he's an inventor, and he is actually a wonderful brother. When we actually started this program, I actually think, wow, I need to talk to him. And I couldn't find him, but all this time, the long and short of it is, I had his telephone number in my phone all the time, saved under a different name. Let me say, big shout out to you, Mr. Leeroy Brown, inventor. How you doing, sir?
Yes, good evening.
Yes.
And to everybody else, good evening.
Yeah. Let me say, welcome to the show.
Yes, welcome to the show.
How you been?
I'm doing okay, you know.
Yes.
You know, in small strides, but getting there.
Yeah. And you're an inventor. Tell us a little bit about your inventing. Just a little touch before we actually go into it deep. What did you invent?
Okay, it's a car jack.
Yes.
So it's just a mechanical electric car jack. So there'll be no more pumping. You just place it in position,
yeah,
and up it goes.
Yeah.
And same to bring it back down. But it also inflates your tire as well.
Okay. And how long did that take you to develop?
Well, the year 2002, well, it was year 2000.
Yeah.
It was on Best Inventions, and then it went on to Tomorrow's World.
Yeah.
First black Caribbean to actually appear and to win a segment on
Marvelous.
So.
Right. Great. We're going to talk about that a little bit later because your ups and downs, your struggles, where you are now and where is it at now and all that sort of business. Yeah.
Yeah.
Great. Yes. Right, guys. Let me say thank you for once again tuning into the program. Now, there was a young lady we actually had on the program some time ago. Her name is Empress, and she's part of what we call Skating Buddies. And she actually came into the studio, and she was actually talking about her situation and her mental health and mental awareness. And last week it was actually Mental Awareness Day. And after we put the program out, one lady in the United States, and I have to react to that. One lady in the United States, she says, sometimes people don't really want to talk about mental health because people can be cruel. And also, based on the fact is that you don't always want to talk about it, and you just want to listen or somebody to give a listening ear. And we sort of really appreciate that. And I'm just going to try and read you something that Empress actually, before I show you who Empress is, I'm going to try and read you something that she actually sent to us. And she's actually out there. And she says, help skating buddies. organized by Empress Gibb. Living with mental health is not easy, but doing it without support or lack thereof can be very disheartening and lonely. I almost tried to give up twice on life, and only because I was convinced that there was no one there to care. No one in the world cared or for me. So I think if I went, it would be a better place. At this stage of my life, that seems like the only answer, but it is not. And now I have an opportunity to help others. Birmingham City Council has filed a bankruptcy, and she's actually looking for funds and help to get the whole organization going. And they're actually looking for funds. And she says, I'm quite this thought of mine, starting when I was 23. I now almost 40 and don't let that amount of time pass for young people to come and help. And you can find her on GoFund.me, and also you can find her on www.skatingbuddiesuk.co.uk. And she's also said, thank you, Breakthrough TV, and thank you, Carl Campbell, for allowing the opportunity to come and speak about my mental health. We got a clip we're going to show you about this wonderful lady and how brave she is. And let's see if we can get up this clip for you now. Thank you. Thank you, Empress. There you have it. So you need to support Skating Buddies, and if you can help us, get involved. You can also find them online and get involved and actually help them. Now, my next answer I would need to answer is another lady, the same lady, Mrs. Samuels from the United States. We was actually talking about royalties last week, and we was actually talking about how so many different artists, particularly Jamaican reggae artists, haven't got their royalties. Now, let's rewind. Now, back in the day, about in the 60s and in the 70s, so you would have like a well-to-do person in, say, Jamaica, and he got a studio. So a lot of these artists used to actually queue up and go to the studio and says, I want to record a song. I don't know if you know about this, Leeroy. I want to record a song. I want to put a song down, and I want to voice a track. So the producer would build a rhythm, or we get musicians to build a rhythm. They would actually build a rhythm, and the artist would sing on the rhythm. They'd give him little or nothing. That's how it was. That's how things was. They give him like, I don't even know if it was a £5 or £40 or 2 shillings or 3 shillings. That's how it was back in the days. They give him like 3 shillings, and that's it. The record doesn't belong to them anymore. The writing doesn't belong to them anymore. The copyright doesn't belong to them anymore. And that's how that goes. And it moves on. And it moves on to, like, say, coming into the 70s, into the 80s. I'm just talking about particular in Jamaican music, because the artist who's actually suing one of the giants, American company, is actually Max Romeo. And I talked about Max Romeo last week. And say you move into this, moving forward, what actually happens now? You actually get artists who, they're concentrating on doing their music, right? And they haven't got very, very good management, you know what I mean, looking after their affairs. So they actually sort of get ripped off as well. And so, and they do, a lot of them don't actually own the copyright for their music. So that is why a lot of artists now are saying they haven't got their royalty. That is not the main reason, but it's some of the reason, you know what I mean, how things was. I know you probably know a little bit about this, Leeroy, if you care to make a comment on that.
Yeah, I had the actual article where he's Max Romeo. Yeah. He's actually suing them for copyrights. Yeah. I've got quite a few Max Romeos myself, in vinyl. Mm-hmm. But yeah, a little. It's a shame on what they went through.
That's right. That's right.
In reggae music and not owning the actual music or the copyrights to it.
Yeah, yeah. And as I say, it is actually a shame. And but that's, as I say, I mean, they should get their copyright now. But as I say, I mean, I've seen it even the great people like we're not talking about Max Romeo in particular here, but we see the great artists like even Frankie Paul. Frankie Paul, used to put out tune back to back to back to back to back, and Frankie Paul died with hardly any money. He died a broken man. You know what I mean?
Which is a shame.
Which is a shame. As I say, if you're a musician and you're just concentrating on music and you haven't got anybody else to look after your affairs, you know what I mean, or look at the small prints, you know, or whatever you're doing, you know what I mean, and you'll always get scrupulous managers anyway, you know, and those are actually some of the things that can actually happen, you know what I mean. So I hope that helps you, Sister Gerline, to clear up some of the copyright issues. I can't go into, this would need a whole total show, you know what I mean, to clear up everything, you know what I mean. I say, we hope a lot of the artists who's due to their copyright issues get their copyright, yeah? Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to the program. Now, a legendary, wow, one of my favorite artists, no longer with us, Michael Ibo Cooper. The Third World member is actually left us. What a fantastic musician he was. He was a musician with Third World. Before that, he was a musician with Inner Circle. And he went to the Edna Manley School of Arts and Music, you know what I mean, in Jamaica. So he's no longer with us. So we say condolence to his family. And God bless him for all the works he's actually bring to us and showed us to us. I must tell you as well, Mr. Cooper is one of the first artists, Jamaican reggae artists, I've actually ever seen put the keyboard around his neck and actually played it like that. Has the total freedom of the stage. I love keyboard, and I do play keyboard a little bit. But one of the reasons I actually started playing the guitar, it was the freedom that it gives me on stage. But he was the first Jamaican artist I actually see puts the keyboard around his neck and actually start playing it. I call it a keyboard because it's not a piano. Other American artists has done it. People like Herbie Hancock has done it, you know what I mean? But he was actually the first I actually see who actually done it. And we say big shout out to him. It's absolutely marvelous, yeah. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to the program. And we say God rest his soul and God rest him, yeah. Let me move on. Now, finally, 3 Jamaicans are in the Rolling Stone magazine of the 250 greatest artists, yes. One is Cat from Third World. One is also Ernest. My apologies. Ernest Sibbett, yes. And the other one is actually Mr. Rankin. They're in the top 250 Rolling Stone Artist magazine, you know what I mean? And they actually made it to that list. The winner is actually Jimi Hendrix, who actually came in at number 1. And number 2 is actually, well, Chuck Berry. Number 3 is the guitarist from actually Led Zeppelin. I have to say Led Zeppelin, not Zeppelin. I have to say Led Zeppelin. Fans would say, I have to say Led Zeppelin. Led Zeppelin with Jimmy Page actually came 3rd, yeah. So we say big shout out to you. 3 Jamaicans here, big shout out to you. And I got to tell you, Cat is one of my favorite guitarists. I've always listened to him from when I was a boy. Absolutely marvelous. And you can go back and see Cat because he talked to us at the 2022 Birmingham Simmer Down Festival. Had a great interview with him, and you can go and check that out, yeah. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to the program. Now let's move on now. Moving on. Now, as you know, it's Israel. As you say, Israel and Hamas is still at it. You know what I mean, for quite some time. And 500 people actually died in a hospital. Nobody has actually claimed. The American President Biden today says it wasn't Israel and it must be somebody else. And nobody actually knows who it is. Nobody actually admits who it is. You know what I mean? So we'll wait and see. The UN has said there is a humanitarian disaster going on there. So it's war, isn't it? We're back to that again. Yeah. Moving on. Now, my guest. How you doing, sir?
I'm doing okay.
Leeroy, let me say thank you for coming once again. So, let's start at the beginning. Where did it start for you?
Well, the beginning, 23 years ago, driving down the motorway, seeing a person in a Jag changing it and laying flat down.
Yes.
Trying to find a jacking point.
Yeah.
And then from there, it just got me thinking, there must be a better way. And this is how 23 years later,
yes,
I've started off in the UK took it to Hong Kong, China, and now I've got a working model, brilliant, but the working model is not where I want it to be, so we're getting it cut in half in the UK. Yeah. So I'm back in the UK.
And explain it to me again. What you call it?
We called it Airjack 2000. That was at the beginning.
Airjack 2000.
We was going to do a competition once it released and to get a better name. I was going to do it my late dad's name, which is my middle name, which is Eddiston.
Eddiston.
Yeah. And anyway, we would try to get it, protected, and there was 1 and 2 Eddiston, which is spelled E-I-I-S, so E-I-I, so E-D-D-I-S-T-O-N, where my name is spelled E-D-D-Y-S-T-O-N.
Okay.
It sounds the same, but spelled different.
But it's not the same. And have you had it painted?
Yes, we've got it patented in the UK, US, and China, which is the 3 biggest.
How long did it take you to develop? Are you from an engineering background?
Yes, a mechanical engineering background, yeah.
So how long did it take you to develop?
It's taken 16 years.
Yes.
16 years, maybe a bit longer. We've gone through 10 models. This is with a company from Hong Kong. We've gone through quite a few at my expense, of course, but with 1 and 2 people backing.
What about financial support from the UK? Do you have any financial support from the UK?
I wish that was the case. Only winning Best Inventions, Tomorrow's World, no. We had an invention, we had a company come in and invested in the early days, but when you're dealing with Hong Kong and the cost, it doesn't last very long. Because
I remember seeing you many moons ago on Tomorrow's World.
Yeah.
And I thought, yes, this brother is there, because we all know you. We all go to parties and we all hear there and everywhere, so we all know you. It was good to see like a brother like you who we all know. Doing so well and what's happened?
Yeah, it's just the time it's taken to develop. At first, there's no one you can go to as an inventor. I've got a family in America and he's invented something slightly different, but he put me on the right track. Yeah. And you just think something so simple, why is it taking so long? Yeah. But it's the simple things which is the most difficult.
Which is easy. And what was it like when you go and saw the Tomorrow's World? What was the disadvantage or the advantage that you get out of it?
The advantage, yes, is getting the coverage and think probably 2 years from now we'll be up and running and selling, but that was not the case, as you all know now.
What do you think that was?
It's just trying to get it developed. I can't say the money wasn't thrown at it. Yeah. It was just difficult to get it developed, and I'm not going to come out with a product which is 90%. It's got to be 100%. And
well, is it because you wasn't happy with it, or what? Or what was it?
The team wasn't happy with it, not just myself. Hong Kong saying it was okay. Once we go to manufacture, it will get. Well, no, I want the better and finished prototype, which I've got now. So yeah, we're just in the stage of just bringing it down into 2. Instead of 1, it's going to do 2 things at the same time. Like if you want to blow your tire up or change your wheel. So.
And explain how does it work?
Yeah, well, you put it underneath the jacking point. It's a remote control, so you don't have to wind it like the old mechanical one. You would actually wind the actual jack. This one here, you just place it in position, up it goes, and then to release it to bring it back down.
I am dumb to this. How does the air get into it?
It's a compressor. It all works over internal compressors. It's all the one unit internal, but it's a high pressure volume compressor. If you look online, there's nobody's done it yet. This is how difficult it is out of the years. Plenty of people hundreds and hundreds of patents have gone in, but nothing's come to the market as yet.
Any reason why that is?
It's difficult, very difficult, but we've cracked the code.
Why is it so difficult? I know I'm asking you tough questions now. I think probably a lot of people out there would sort of want to know why it's taking so long, and why it's, as you say, how difficult it is. If somebody who wants to invent something, I want to do something and to take it to the next level, I think you're a fine example of explaining that to us.
Yes, it's difficult in a way that it's saying, it's trying to say it can't be done. But as you know, if you stay at anything long enough, it can be done. Yeah. And I'm actually living proof it can be done with a working model. Yeah. So it's just one of them things where, you know, I'm not sure if anybody's knows about patents. Yeah, you can put in anything as a patent, whether it works or not. Yeah. So yeah, so it's just a difficult project, very difficult.
Any sponsors?
Yes, I've had a couple of sponsors. So otherwise, I wouldn't have been able to do it on my own. And I've had 2 remortgages and everything else. I've seen other people from the show and everywhere else and all the shows I've been to and go bankrupt. Lucky enough, I haven't gone bankrupt. Just keep ticking over to where we are today.
Let me ask you then. I mean, I've got to ask you. If you don't want to answer, you don't have to answer. What roughly has it cost you? You can just say ridiculous amount, but
ridiculous amount. Some would say, or some had says, give it up. Give it up, it's going nowhere. But my dad always says, before he passed away, he said, take it as far as you can, do not stop. And that's what I've done.
Because I recall some time ago, even some ladies I was actually talking to, that they said to me, oh, we thought it would have been out there because you must have heard that.
Yeah,
we want to buy it. Even myself, I was actually saying, you know, I mean, we thought it would have been out, we wanted to buy that. Yeah.
Many times. Yes, there's a lot of times where you just feel like anything else, just put it to the side, leave it, and just forget about it. But you know, every model you go through, you're getting closer. This company I'm using, it's the first time he's undertaken this, and he's worked for many manufacturers, but nothing to do with air compression. Yeah. So it was new to him, and he's been in the business a long time. Yeah.
You say you've been to China, Japan?
No, China.
What was it like? What was it like going to Hong Kong? What was it like?
You know, as you can imagine, Hong Kong, you can walk around at the night time, very peaceful. China, it feels like you're being watched, and you know, it's okay. But obviously, I went with people who were from that area because they came from Hong Kong, and which is now China's mainland, which now runs Hong Kong. So yeah.
Well, let me ask you, what when you take this to say the British manufacturer, what was the reaction from British manufacturer when you slam it down and says, this is what I want? What was their answer?
Their answer is
plain and simple term. What was their answer?
No.
Did they encourage you? Did they help you? Did they say, yes, we can go more forward with this?
Yes, and again, spent 2-3 years here in the UK trying to develop it. Now, as you know, you're green at this, but you live and learn, and you have to pay for, I won't say your mistakes, to learn. You have to pay to learn. The one company from London, we can do this, and I didn't know the difference between a designer and an industrial designer. I'm not sure if you've heard.
Explain to me. What is the difference?
The designer only develops what's in front of him and makes it look flashy, or as they used to say, I wouldn't say, make it look sexy, so it's got sale appeal. Where an industrial designer will do the actual heart and design it from heart to how it looks. Now, I didn't know the difference between this. So the London company who I was using was just making it look flashy. Several different models, looked great, but no heart. And as you know, anything without a heart, it's not going very far.
It's going to go very far. And where exactly, I know you so just repeat to me, where exactly are you with it now?
I've got a working model. The working model works.
I wish you had bought it.
The working model, well, it is in.
How big is it? How big are they?
It's only around about 4 foot by 5 foot in depth, because obviously it's got to go underneath the vehicle. And we're bringing it down by at least 40%. So, and that's been done here.
Oh, great. And what would you say to other people who's actually sort of inventing things or developing things, or the younger people who wants to do this? And as you said, you was the first British African-Caribbean person on Tomorrow's World. I'm not gonna say black because I don't use that. I say British African-Caribbean descendants. I'm not gonna say black.
Okay, well, yeah. The first and what it was like. Sorry, I've lost my trail of thought. Can you repeat the question?
I said, what was it like being the first? I know you're going to say black, being the first, and I don't like to say that. Being the first black person to be at Tomorrow's World.
Okay, right.
Of Caribbean descendants and Caribbean, because you're also Windrush generation, aren't you?
Yeah. Okay, I'll just bring you up on the reason why I don't mind saying black, because of course I've been always says coloured. I know even today I always say
Colored.
they call me coloured person, and I refer to them black.
Yeah. Well, I always say when I talk about, like, I always say British African Caribbean. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? And I'm quite happy with that. Yeah. And it's not because I don't know what it is.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I don't want somebody to say, "I'm thinking is not." You know, when you say that, the first thing to me, "I'm thinking is not." You know, but it's not nothing about that. You know, it's nothing. It's like African American. I always say African American. I know, and we was doing great with that at one time. You know what I mean? Everybody was saying African American, like, and then suddenly they changed again. So you know what I mean? Let's get back to the question.
Yeah, being the first on the show, it doesn't really hit you.
Yeah.
It really doesn't hit you because, you know, you think, it's only after the show you think what you've done and, you know, and saying, wow. But that year was the last year of Tomorrow's World. So it doesn't hit you at the time. Yeah, the filming was great, everything else. But, you know, it was just glad to see it out there and to show what can be done. I'm sure you says as in being a black Afro-Caribbean. Yes, schools, it's good to have a role model and to show anybody can do it. And my advice, if you've got something, take it as far as you can. Yeah. But before you start, think the cost and what you're prepared. If you're not prepared to put your heart and your money behind it, then, you know, unfortunately, you just have to park it.
Did you have any interest, say, from, I mean, like, I think people like, say, the Caribbean or Africa or some people like that probably would have loved this sort of thing. Did you have any interest from countries such as those?
No.
Or did you make an effort or travel to any of these countries to sort of, if we can get to a different level?
Yeah, at the beginning, I had interest from Canada, America, Australia, who wanted to sell the product. But once again, if it wasn't 100%, 110, then I wasn't going to go out with it until. But yeah, I had an interest from around the world. It's amazing. And the emails I had, well, it brought me to tears.
Serious?
The amount of emails I had. Yeah. And from people you wouldn't expect, and I've met people I've never expected to meet.
Who are some of the people you met?
Dragon's Den, I just mentioned from Dragon's Den. Yeah, he's tall. I think you know who he is.
Which one? I don't watch the program.
Oh, right,
I never have time to watch the program.
Yeah, I've met quite a few. I met the one with at the time.
What did he? The tall one? What you say? What did he say when you met him?
He says very good. I like it. I met him at how I got on there is there was a show at the NEC, and I came across him and showed him, and he says okay, and they came looking for me in the queue because the queue was a long.
I like you.
Yeah. Well, sorry, that was for another show, not for Tomorrow's World. Yeah. But I met quite a few.
And they was quite impressed with you.
Yeah, he was quite impressed, even though the one model I showed him was just the case and he never had a heart.
Okay.
So this is the one what was done in London.
And who else have you met?
Several lords, sirs. I'm terrible with names. That's why I'm not mentioning. I wouldn't mention names anyway. I wouldn't mention names. But I've met quite a few.
And what was it like meeting all these guys? Was they all positive or willing to help you, or did you think they probably could have? If they think, you know what I would say, innit? Do you think they probably could have helped you more? And not just the, and I don't want to say this, I'm not just the, you know, you know where I'm going with that.
Yeah.
You think they could have helped you more?
I believe so.
And I know you got to check in mind because you've got different people you're having to work with now, so you got to be careful with your answer.
I believe so. Whether we've got any further down the line, that I can't say. But yes, they could have helped. But then again, people and individuals don't like investing something which you're developing because it will take a lot of money. So I understand that part. Now I understand that part. You know, invest in something which is still developing.
And do you see any other product out there like sort of like comparing to this? Because no matter what you develop, somebody's always going to copy it. I don't know. Have you seen any similar that's say somebody else copied or anything like that?
No,
or something like that?
There's nothing out there you can buy.
Is there anything like that out there on the market?
only thing on the market, you can buy compressors to blow your tyre up, but it won't elevate the vehicle. It won't lift the vehicle. The weight it will carry is around about 250. 250. Yeah, because a car is just under a ton. So you'll take a quarter of that because you're never going to lift the whole car with one jack anyway. So it'll lift it fairly easy with the.
That's great. That's absolutely great. And as I say, you get to the final stage. You got a new product coming up.
Yeah, it's just a redeveloped product of what we've got.
And when do you think that will come out?
Well, I suppose I've had a meeting today, but he got stuck in traffic, and he's only, as I said, he is actually. I wish I could have bought him, but I don't think he would want him or the uni he works for involved at this stage anyway. And I'll hopefully, because my patent, I'm going to have to renew the patent in June, so hopefully before June.
What would you say then to other people who's supporting you or watching this and say, you know what I mean, and say, well, I really, you know what I mean, I hope you develop it because we really need it, you know what I mean, we really need it. And, you know what I mean, because I've heard myself, I've told you before, I heard people say, you know what I mean, I really need one of these, I could do it. What would you say to them?
Hold fire.
Even one lady who was actually, when I posted the adverts, you know, the advert, like the flyer, they was actually saying the same thing to me. You know what I mean? What would you say to them?
Yeah, it's going to happen. It is going to happen. As I says, we have got a working model, and we're just bringing the size down. It's a bit too large for me, too large for the actual boot. Even though, you know, the boots are good size, but I still want it more smaller than what it is. So it would, any vehicle. All vehicles, and which is a good point now. You can say, oh, it's outdated, which they were saying it's going to be outdated earlier. Which there's in the early days, I don't know if they've done away with the spare wheel. And they say, well, this won't be needed. This will not be back to the spare wheel.
Great.
And with the electric vehicles, as you can see, vehicles still got wheels. It's going to still need to be changed. So
that's great. You know, I never know there was actually going back to the square wheel because I've always had a spare wheel in my car. Now, the car I have got now, the car I have now has got no spare wheel. And it was one of the most nightmare things that I could have ever come across.
Yeah, the pump which they developed, you've got to change the wheel. And I would always advise to buy a space saver and buy a jack. No, wait until this comes out before you buy the jack. But I would always advise to carry a spare space saver. Yeah.
But some cars you can't get one to fit.
Most of the ones you can get in. Okay, your motorway, where they're to airport. Then
I'm glad you said
that. Can be a problem.
I'm glad you said that because that is your background. I'm not the expert in that, so I'm glad you came up. Now I got to ask you the big question because this program is called "What's on Your Mind." Yes, and we're not very far from ending, so you got time. You got a lot of time. So let me ask you then. Sometimes I ask some of my guests what's on their mind, and sometimes I don't ask my guests because I run out of time. So let me ask you then, what's on your mind?
What's on my mind?
Yes.
Is this to do with anything?
Yeah, anything to do with anything, yes.
Okay.
Of course. Couldn't even do with me.
Yeah, what's on my mind?
Yeah.
I just don't like what I'm seeing.
Yeah.
No winners. I pray that it will all stop and it will all come to a peaceful ending. But unfortunately, people do have disagreements, but bringing it out into violence, then for me, it's unnecessary. That's just me. But it's a well, sorry, I don't know, but my eyes are filling up now just talking about it. And but one life, that's me. Life is too short as it is without somebody coming in and cutting it short.
I totally agree. And the thing about it is like, as you say, what's happening in the world. I mean, I was watching something on the news last night, and I don't generally watch a lot of things on the news late. The last time I actually watched something that late was when the Americans went into the first Gulf War. I sit and watch that all through the night. And I was watching something on the telly last night, and I thought, my days, what is happening to the humankind? What is going on? You know what I mean? It's just such a so many people so many people just get caught up in it. You know what I mean? And there's, as I say, what is the answer? Somebody say praying, but praying is not enough. And I'm not being blaspheming or whatever, because God knows what He's doing. You know what I mean? We say, a lot of people's going to say, a lot of Christians out there going to say to me, God knows what He's doing. You know what I mean? So what is I'm not knocking that. What is the answer? You know what I mean? And a lot of people's going to say God is coming as well, because I know, and we've heard that. You know? We've heard that as well. You know what I mean? And I'm not offending anyone. And a lot of people's going to say it's God's time. But you know, we can always ask questions.
Yes. What is the answer? No. Everybody's got to sit down and work it out, not with weapons and bombs. It's only going to escalate, unfortunately. And they're going to have to sit around the table. That's the only way out.
So interesting. Now, you've been to a lot of parties over the years, and let's talk about musicians, artists. Who's some of your favorite artists? Let's go down this road now. Let's lighten it up. I'm talking about your product. Let's talk about the good old days now and where you used to go, and you know what I mean. Let's lighten it up.
Yeah, I've got so many different artists. Lovers Rock, Roots. You know, we used to have a sound back in the day.
Yeah, I remember. Tell us about the sound. 'Cause your brother has a sound today.
He still has a sound today. He started back up again.
He started up back.
So, you know, we still have a sound, but I only play vinyl. If I play out, it's only vinyl.
It's only vinyl.
I don't do anything else, laptop or CDs. Nothing wrong with them. It's a lot easier for the individual. But, I don't drink. I don't smoke. My enjoyment is...
Music.
Is music. I like listening to good music and that.
You're very much like me. Favorite artist? Any favorite artists?
Well, there's too many to mention. One, Gregory, the Cool Ruler, which is Gregory, Beres, you know, the normal. Okay, I'm gonna hold my hand up. Bob Marley. I never really liked him. A friend of mine loved Bob Marley. No, in the early days, I used to say he's too commercial. And I was outside the Odeon with a friend of mine who now lives in America. And he said, no, I'm going in. And then I went home, and that was my one of my regrets.
I've read the archives on that. That must have been about 1974.
Yeah.
Because I've come across Clifton, because this is what I do. That was about 1974, 75.
Yeah. But if you listen to his music, what it was, he was just too far ahead of myself.
Yeah.
He was just too far ahead. His music, his lyrics, something else.
Yeah. I mean, I like the three of them. I like Bonnie, I like Peter, and I like Bob.
Yeah.
And I always remember as a young guy growing up in Jamaica. I remember I think I was going to school, and I remember they was playing Simmer Down, and we used to be. I think we was in PE or something like that. Very, very young guys. You know what I mean, it wasn't like a big school. It was just. I don't remember Simmer Down coming, and the teachers was all dancing, and we was having a great time. And I've always been aware of Bob, of the Wailers from that particular time. What drops me is the Natty Dread album. I always talk about the Natty Dread album, the one he did with Chris Blackwell.
Yeah.
But before that, I also like the Catch a Fire album, which is one of my favorites. And I still got that on vinyl, the Catch a Fire album. You know what I mean? Yeah. But the Natty Dread album saw some of these tracks, and you know, that actually I talked about this a couple of weeks ago. How you open the sleeve, you know?
Yeah.
And the words and the producers and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
Is that it? Soul music. You must be a big. You look like a big soul music fan.
No.
You never like. You was always into.
I was always into. I like soul. I've got a lot of soul. You know, music is music, regardless. I've got even the music called. Her name's Brown. Oh gosh, what's the name of it? I've got some music which you wouldn't expect me to have, but good music is good music.
For example, Brown.
Say for instance, I'm trying to remember her name. Oh gosh, I'm trying to remember the title of the record. Terrible. Sorry, can't remember. But Golden Brown. That's not the one I'm thinking of.
That's the group from London.
Yeah. But I've got records which you wouldn't expect to see in my collection. Soul.
The Stranglers.
The Stranglers.
Stranglers, yeah.
Yeah. Good music is good music. Yeah. You know, I will always buy, regardless, whatever it is. Yeah.
What are you buying? Are you going to a record shop now, or do you buy it?
Back in the day, yes, I used to go to.
You don't tell me.
You know, A lot. And I've got very few which I haven't got. So sometimes the ones I haven't got, or if I go out and I hear, then I'll try and find that individual track.
So you get not seeing Bob Marley.
Oh yes.
Any
definitely.
other artists that came to Birmingham Road and that you ever saw? Who have you seen?
I've seen majority.
Yes.
A friend of mine used to run a record shop.
Okay.
The biggest record shop in the Midlands, and I used to get free tickets with him. So
I'm trying to think which one is that.
There's only one big shop back in the day. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. He was in town.
Yes.
Okay,
yes.
we'll say that's where he ended up in town.
That's
but
what. That's what he came from. He came from Ladypool Road.
He came from He ended up. That's why I said he ended up in town.
He came from Ladypool Road.
So
so we
he was a
know.
good friend. He used to do. So I used to get a lot of records from him, along with other shops, and he used to call me a nickname, and he said, "What you doing?" "Oh man, I'm free." And because I never drank, then he had a driver as well.
So who did you see? Which famous artist you see?
Oh, I've seen, as you say, Frankie Paul.
Frankie Paul.
And every time, even when he was on third on the list, he would have had to come on and still finish the show. He was something else, as live. Yeah. I've seen a lot of others, which a lot of people will agree with me on this one. A lot of them are just, okay, they're not live performances, but they're very good in the studio, and the music is good. Yeah. But just, on stage,
they're not doing it.
Not for me, not for me. But
you got to have it on stage.
Yeah.
I mean, I seen a couple of great bands back in the day. I mean, this is soul R&B. I saw the because I'm a musician. Yeah. So what have always struck me to groups is the music. Yeah. You know what I mean? And what I can learn. That is music. That is what I've done music all my life. What I can learn and what I can get out of it. If I can't get nothing out of it, I'm not listening to it. That's, you know what I mean? I saw the Brothers Johnson. Stump.
Yeah.
The guy who actually plays bass on Michael Jackson Off the Wall. Yeah. Louis Johnson. And they was extraordinary, fantastic. Saw them at the Odeon. You know what I mean? So they was actually good. And you must have saw Shalaba. Shalaba was very, very popular. No, you never saw Shalaba.
Very few on the soul side.
On the soul side.
Yeah. Very few on the soul side. But as I said, I've got to cross the range. Yeah.
I actually saw Frankie Paul many times. Frankie Paul was actually a friend of mine because he used to come where we used to hang about. Yeah. I'm not going to mention where, but he used to come where we hang about. So I saw Frankie Paul. He became actually a very, very good friend. You know what I mean? So I saw him many, many times. And I must mention Marcia Griffiths. Saw Marcia Griffiths many, many times. She's also a very nice lady. Yeah. And I went to many moons ago, I went to the Hummingbird. Yeah. And I saw the Tamlins. Yeah. And they actually what we say mash up the place. Yeah. And that was when Michael Jackson was big. Yeah. Carry on.
Yeah, sorry. Yeah, coming back to where you say unless you can get something out of it, you would listen to the music first. With me, it's lyrics first, and then the beat or the music afterwards. Okay, yeah. So it has to have a message and a good message, which a lot of the reggae back in the day music had a very good message. A very good
message. Yeah, of course, message. I also mean that as well. If I can't get message and the music out of it, you know what I mean? Because you got some tune and you think, wow, we can't be bothered with this. Yeah. That's what I'm trying to say. Yeah. You know what I mean? So if I can get a message out of it, not the music, it's even great. You know what I mean? But I've always in general music, I have to get something out of it. Yeah. You know what I mean? Yeah. It's like when Michael Jackson stepped on the floor, I know I'm going to say Michael Jackson. When Michael Jackson stepped on the floor, you can actually feel it. Yeah. You know, whether you're a soul man or whether who you are. Same with James Brown. Yeah. You know, when they do that on the floor, you can feel it. Yeah. That's what I'm talking about when I talk about musicians. You know, okay. Say when you see a great reggae band and the whole of the band light up and they have keyboards, they have drums, they have the whole works, and they have backing singer. You know, a whole big band. You know what I mean? So those are the sort of things I actually do like about music. Yeah. You know what I mean? Yeah. Leeroy, anything else you want to say? You want to tell us? You want to say?
No, we actually at the moment, no. Hopefully, once we're up and running and we can update. Yeah. So a few months from now. Yeah. But thank you for inviting me.
I'm glad because I know you're a busy man. I'm glad you take the time up. You know what I mean? Anybody you want to say hello to?
Yes, my sister Pat.
Big shout out to your sister Pat. Yep. Long time no see.
Yep. Driving force. Would I have packed up behind it when I'm feeling low? She picks me up and she picks me up and says, "No, listen, we're there. You know, just that one more step, And yes, big thank you. And what would I do without her?
Marvelous.
You know,
Marvelous.
oh, brilliant. Just the only thing is, I have to book an appointment to get hold of it. She'll understand that. But yeah. Very busy, but yeah.
It's like going to the doctor.
Yeah. Oh God.
So, and that is changes. You have to go online now. If you want to see your doctor,
Yeah.
if you want to see your doctor, you got to download the app.
Yeah.
You got to download the app and go online.
Yeah.
Oh gosh.
But a joke in the park, a rock, honestly.
Yeah.
Brilliant. Absolutely brilliant.
Yeah. Anybody else you want to say hello to?
At the moment, no.
Nice.
Everybody else and family.
Yeah.
Yes, big up all my family, friends. I've got some good friends as well as family.
And they give you a lot of support.
And they've given me, giving me a lot of support, even if it's just verbal and uplift and that, Oh, sorry, I've got one more as well. My cousin Glenn and Joyce Brown.
Yeah.
Yeah. Big thank you, big shout out to the both of them. Yeah. How could I forget? Yeah, sorry. But anyway.
Let me say, Leeroy, let me say thank you. Touch my hand.
Yep, man. Nice.
Thank you for coming in. Yeah.
Okay, thanks
Thank you very much.
for having me.
You'll come back and tell us your development next time, probably in the next 18 months or the next year.
No, it won't be that long.
It won't be that long.
No,
You're welcome anytime to tell us where you are, you know what I mean? It's great. And as I say, there's a lot of people that actually ask me, and a lot of our viewers, you know what I mean, when they see the advert, they say, I know this man, you know what I mean? Then when he's going to, do the thing out, yeah? Right, guys, I must make a little bit of an appeal to you to keep watching the program, you know what I mean? And what we've come across, and I don't know how this is going to go down, what we actually come across is that our views are going up. And take, for instance, last week, we have had, like, say, on average, we had, in a couple of hours, one of the show got up to about 200 views. Yes, it's not a lot of views, but it is a lot, right? This is what I'm saying. Go in, that greedy people. And then all of a sudden, it comes down to about 40. It goes up again to about another 100. And it comes down to about 30 within a couple of hours. You know what I mean? Now, the last show we did last week, I think maximum it got to about 180 within a couple of hours. You know what I mean? And then it comes down again. Yes. And then it goes back another 30, and then it comes down again. It goes up another 40, and then it comes down again. As I say, we keep gaining views and we keep losing views. Now, I've also heard this thing about the algorithm. I don't know how it works, and I don't sort of understand exactly how it works. That's my producer's job, yeah? But I'm asking you to sort of support the program and keep liking and sharing the program. And let us know if this happens to your program, what you're putting out. And I say, we never used to have it. But recently, and we haven't changed anything, you know what I mean? And we haven't offended anyone, in any way. So we're not doing anything wrong. And if we was doing anything wrong, offended any wrong, I'm sure the platform would have been on our case. Yes, because they would have spotted that. So I don't know why it keeps doing this. It's up and down, and it's up and down. And it's not, if it goes up and they'll just leave it there, it would be fine. It'd be fine. But they don't just leave it there. It comes down at about 40. And by the time this program goes out, you'll probably see it goes up over 100. And then it comes back down again. You know what I mean? I recall any time I do a drive time show on New Star Radio. And I will go home now and I'll watch the program, and it probably by morning it gets about 200 views or something like that. Because that's not bad for a couple of hours. And then, because we're not superstars and, we don't do anything slack and all this stuff, so those programs get a lot of views when you show different things. Because the rhythm goes whoops then. But what I'm trying to say that if you can help us to improve our views, it will be great. And don't forget, this is a platform for all you guys who want to take part in this program. And what we're actually doing here, it's not for us. What we're actually doing here, we're actually doing this program. So we're actually leaving it there. So your family or your friends or your relatives can always go and watch the program because it is always on YouTube. It doesn't go in the archives. Anytime you want to access it, you go there and just type in and you'll find it. Any program you want to find, whatever week you want to find, just go there and you can access it and it will be always there. So it is a legacy and it's a history for your family. And I've said to you many, many times, if you want to come in and take part in the program, you can do so. We can talk about anything. Remember, it's what's on your mind. And you can leave it there for your grandchildren, your family, your whole family. Even when you're gone, somebody will always, look, that's my relative. I can actually come and watch it. So we'll appreciate if we make an appeal to you, if you keep supporting the program and sharing the program. And let me say thank you very much. And Look after yourself. Be good to each other. Catch us back with another What's on Your Mind next week. And don't forget, on the 1st of November, we've got reggae singer Alicia Scott. Yeah, she's got this album called Windrush Baby. She'll be talking to us right here at the Breakthrough TV. Also, we're hoping to interview Winston Francis and AJ Benjamin right here on Breakthrough TV. Tune in for that. God bless you. My time is here. Good afternoon. Thank you, producer. Have a wonderful day. Mr. Leeroy Brown, big shout out to you, sir. Thank you.
Okay, right. Thank you.
Respect.
Yep, nice.
Thanks.
Okay, thank you for inviting me once again.
We're out. Thanks.
Okay.